So theology is absolutely essential to know who he is, to know who we are, to know how to live in the world, to how to think about the world, to know what to do, to know how to live, and so on. So when we don't have sound theology, we're tossed back by every wind of doctrine. We adopt the thought of the day. We become syncretistic in the sense that we take something from the Bible and we mix it with contemporary culture, and what comes out in the end usually is contemporary culture and not scripture. So, I'm trying to help teach people that theology is absolutely essential. It's always been that way. Theology is properly right thinking through the whole counsel of God, faith seeking understanding. We seek to understand what God has revealed about himself and about ourselves and who we are in relationship to him and the great work of the Redeemer. So there's nothing more practical than theology, right? Systematic theology is putting God's revelation to practice in terms of properly understanding all that he has said. And apart from doing that, we will be anemic, or spiritually impoverished. And of course, we aren't just the first people to do this. All right. We stand on the heritage of those who've gone before, and we must learn from our forefathers. So the whole emphasis today that we see on retrievals are great. I mean, that's really what we've always should have been doing, right? We stand on the shoulders of those who've gone before us. Yet some in the retrieval movement, I mean, I tweak it a little bit in the sense that some, I think, almost retrieve, but we all, almost go back and, if we're not careful, freeze an era, or not fully see, critique maybe some of the problems of some of those previous ones. And I don't think anybody would say they're not providing a critique of it, but some writings as of late almost is, let's retrieve Aquinas without ever kind of criticizing him, right? Without sort of saying, hey, there's some differences that are here. So we stand on the shoulders, but we do so in light of the past, and we also bring scripture as final authority to bear on everything that we say. So hopefully people will see that we cannot, we're not the first ones to think about who God is and think about creation and providence, but we bring all of that to bear in terms of how we understand scripture and how we apply it to the contemporary world. So it's not just a historical theology. We learn from the past, but it's also applied to the present day and issues of our day. So theology has to constantly be done, be written. Not that the gospel changes, scripture doesn't change, but its application, right, in terms of contemporary issues, taking on contemporary matters. In volume 2, I've been putting together and wrestling with in terms of humans and sin. When you think of the doctrine of humanity, I mean, how much Calvin didn't talk about LGBT, did he?
No.
He wasn't there. I mean, you didn't have scientific technology, artificial intelligence. I mean, so I can't write a book on all of that, but our doctrinal formulation of image of God, of who we are, has to say something to those issues if we're going to be a help to the contemporary church. And so that's what that's trying to do. So grounding it in scripture, learning from the past, not reinventing the wheel. That's why the classical view, particularly in terms of doctrine of God and so on. And then, even in providence, where I wrestle with Arminian, Calvinists, that goes back to Augustinian views and through the Reformation. And these aren't just views that show up in contemporary discussions. They're rooted in the past, and there's things that we learn from the past, and we don't want to repeat the mistakes of the past. So hopefully then we can be more, as we stand on the shoulders of those before us, we're wiser, hopefully, and we don't just repeat the mistakes that others have done.
That's really helpful.